Nijiro Nanise is Blue Lock's top 23, and he barely made it into the list of players who will join Blue Lock's team for the upcoming U20 World Cup. This talented learner with genius specs has quite a story on how he proved his value in this league and got a bid of 25 million yen, something that even Nagi Seishiro failed to do. So hold on tight, because starting with Nanise, I'm going to explain Blue Lock's final top 23, and reveal how each player reached their final bidding, from the lowest rank at 23 all the way to the two Egoists who tied at the top. You see, coming into the Neo-Egoist League, Nanise has absolutely zero idea on how he can survive this on his own. His scoring ability is average at best, but thankfully, there's one thing he can do as a player for Parasex Jin, and that is to become Ren's personal property. To become a post player for Ren. Nanise trains with Ren. He literally goes full Genos mode and straight up asks Ren, "Please make me your disciple." And for Ren, there was no way he would waste his time on him. Nanise's ball touch, passing, shooting, basically every skill he has sucked. But Ren gives him a shot and starts making Nanise train 3 times harder than everyone else. During their matches, Ren finds out something that changes everything. Nanise is ambidextrous. He can use both feet just as well. With that, Nanise, along with Takemitsu, becomes a support player in the Ren-centered system of Parasex Jin. Even Ren has to admit that Nanise isn't useless. In the first place, Nanise and all the players on this list have something that Nagi doesn't, so keep watching to find out what that is. Interestingly, Jin Kiora ranks 22nd in the Neo-Egoist League's final rankings and got a 26 million yen bid. But do you know that this guy only played one game? Kiora was almost sent in during the match between Bastard Munhyun and Ubers, but that didn't happen. Isagi convinced Noah to put Hiori in instead, so Kiora had to wait for the next and final game to finally get some playtime. And believe it or not, he got that bid from just one move on the field. While Isagi and Kaiser were going at each other in that game, Kiora stayed calm. He has this mindset where he always sees himself standing on the edge like it's a life or death moment. And right here, he saw the perfect borderline situation. He had to figure out who the underdog was between Isagi and Kaiser and then choose to support that one. In the end, the ball came to Kiora and he gave Kaiser a perfect pass, setting him up for the Kaiser Impact Magnus. That goal was Bastard Munhyun's second one against Parasex Jin. And since Kaiser was on the verge of falling apart during that match, Kiora's decision to support him earned him even more credit. That one moment gave him a solid bid and his spot in the top 23. Jingo Raichi is Bastard Munhyun's answer when Snuffy steps onto the field and starts taking control. Even Noah himself has no clue how to deal with Snuffy without risking the whole match, but then Isagi comes up with a pretty smart plan. Before the game even starts, Noah puts Raichi in the starting lineup. Based on the data, Raichi's probably the best choice for a defensive midfielder. His skills in one-on-one battles and overall physical strength are some of the highest in the team, and he proves why he deserves that spot. In the Neo-Egoist League, Raichi developed a new move called the Stalking Man Mark Defense. Instead of just chasing his target all over the field, he stays in a small zone, like a half circle with a 2-meter radius. If the ball comes into that zone, he's allowed to take it, but when he's up against Snuffy, his real job isn't stealing the ball. It's staying locked into that space so he can at least slow down 1 or 2 of Snuffy's planned plays. Now Raichi doesn't completely shut Snuffy down, but his unique defense gives Bastard Munhyun just enough room to make plays, either to attack or to defend. He also gets decent minutes in the Parasex Jin game. And in the end, he climbs to the 21st spot, with a 27 million yen bid. Some people wonder how Gin Fukaku of all people made it to rank 20 with a 28 million yen salary, while Nagi didn't even crack the top 23. Well, here's why. Fukaku is one of Uber's goalkeepers. Back in chapter 246, he was ranked 19th with a 28 million yen bid. Now, he's just one rank lower, but the value stayed the same. He stepped in during the match against Bastard Munhyun after their main goalkeeper, Kanali, got injured trying to stop the Kaiser Impact. And honestly, Fukaku's gotten pretty good at reading the field on defense. He knows how to cover dangerous areas and work with his teammates to block out the opponent's moves. Sure, he couldn't stop Isagi's game-winning shot, but still, Fukaku's not a bad choice. He's now Gagamaru's backup for the U20 team, and having him in the lineup actually makes sense. Tsurugi Zantetsu is currently ranked 19th in Blue Lock, and here's how he landed a 33 million yen yearly salary. Zantetsu plays a big role in one of Parasex Jin's systems built around Shido. His main job is to use his speed to power up their counterattacks. The plays can go a few different ways, but here's the usual setup. Karasu either steals the ball or gets it from someone who did, then passes to Zantetsu. From there, Zantetsu takes off with his jet counter. As he sprints down the field, he'll pass to either Shido or Charles, and those two will take care of the offense from there. If the moment's right, Zantetsu can also steal the ball himself with his explosive speed. Ranzei Corona is one of Isagi's top duo partners, and that's all thanks to his special skill. Corona has really good speed, passing, and control, which lets him move quickly and pass back and forth with Isagi. His weapon is called Planet Hotline, and it helps him spot the perfect passing angles that let Isagi see the field better and plan his next move. Basically, Corona can sense where to be so Isagi can shine and the opponents get stuck. Corona first showed up in Bastard Munhyun's match against Manshine City. In that match, he even pulled off a 3-man Planet Hotline with Noah. Sadly, Corona reached his limit during the Ubers match, so he didn't play until the end. But his performance didn't go unnoticed. After the Manshine match, he got a 24 million yen bid. After the Ubers game, it jumped to 34 million. Now, in the final rankings, Corona sits at 18th place with a 35 million yen offer. And the same goes for the former ace of the Japan U20 team. You see, Shuto Synindo went up from 17.5 million yen to receiving a 37 million yen bid and is now ranked at 17th. And what you might not know is that this guy manages to score his own goal even though King Baro is on his own team. In essence, Synindo is a second striker, which means his main job is to create openings for the other main striker to score. In the Neo-Egoist League, Synindo often follows whatever design Snuffy gives them so that Baro can score, being the main striker of Ubers and all. That means Synindo proves his value through assists, positioning, and defense. He passes to Baro, helps defenders press the opponents to win the ball back, and even works with Fukaku to stop one of Hiori's shots. He also tried to block Kaiser's Kaiser impact, but not only did he fail, but he also got a cramp. This gave Snuffy the chance to join the game and play himself. Synindo came back after the star change system ended, but he didn't score the winning goal that time. But in the next match against Manshine City, Synindo got his moment. After Aiku blocked Nagi's shot and Chigiri interrupted Baro's chance to score, the ball rolled straight to where Synindo was running. He didn't waste it. He kicked it straight into the net and won the match for Ubers. Baro was so mad that he called him a hyena. Quick timeout. Before we dive into the next player and reveal how these egoists secured their spots in the final rankings, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to stick around until the end and hit that like and subscribe button. Alright, let's kick off. Coming in at 16th place with a bid of 39 million yen is the man who runs the show himself, Hiori Yo. He plays for Bastor München, and he finally got his moment in the match against Ubers. But the thing is, Hiori doesn't even like soccer. And during this match, he's actually thinking about quitting for good. The only reason he got subbed in was because Isagi convinced Noah to choose him instead of Kiora. At that moment, Isagi was stuck. He didn't know how to win. Something was missing, and what he needed was a playmaker, someone who could change the whole vibe of the game. That's where Hiori steps in. Thanks to Metavision, he sees the field the same way Isagi does. They read every play the same. Because of that, they pull off something crazy called the collision of peak performances. It's like they're just reacting on instinct. They don't even need to look at each other, and still, they pull off a game-winning chemical reaction. But getting to that point is not easy. Even after Hiori awakened, they still got stuck. That is until Hiori shoots the ball himself instead of passing it to Isagi. It doesn't lead to a goal, but for Isagi, this moment shows him what he's been missing, the final piece. Hiori goes from a guy who doesn't like soccer to a playmaker who wants to help Isagi shine, to a dude who almost quit again after missing his chance, to a playmaker who's all about creating the best striker on the planet. And that striker doesn't have to be Isagi. If Isagi can't keep up with Hiori anymore, he'll leave him behind too. Hiori played as a starter against Paris X-Jin, and in this match, he once again delivered. This time, his ultimate challenge is to beat Charles and his tricky contrarian style of thinking. Hiori keeps flipping his own mindset, going against his own thoughts until he finally reads Charles right and sees through his pass. Then, he sends Isagi a wild no-look pass and it leads to Isagi's 2-gun direct volley. Iki Nico is one of Ubers' key players. Right now, he's ranked 15th with a 40 million yen bid, and throughout the Neo-Egoist League, this guy's been adapting and dominating in Ubers' plays. As a midfielder, Nico's job is to switch between defense and offense when needed. He plays a big part in Ubers' defensive system and works closely with Lorenzo and the other defenders. What's more, Nico has Metavision. This ability takes his natural talent for reading the game and levels it up. He can steal the ball from angles even Isagi doesn't expect, follow players closely, and make fast moves to stop them when he sees a chance to strike. Nico's Metavision also allows him to calculate the success odds of a play, like seeing how high is the chance he can steal the ball from opponents. Unfortunately, Nico's Metavision is still incomplete. It is useful and does its purpose, but Nico is still prone to ignore the blind spots, which means he can get outplayed by other Metavision users. Kinyu Yukimia is Blue Lock's one-on-one emperor, and now he's sitting on the 14th place throne with a 42 million yen bid under his crown. Yukimia is one of the best Blue Lock dribblers there is. His street football dribbling style lets him breeze past through multiple people, no matter if they're international players or not. On top of that, Yukimia has a reliable go-to shot that he even evolved in the Neo-Egoist League, specifically in the match between Bastor München and Manshine City. Yukimia scores the winning goal by combining his gyro shot with a new variation inspired by Chris's illogical knuckleball. This shot, called Sword Screw, suddenly drops to the field before bouncing right into the net with its increased oblique rotation. And before I forget to mention, Yukimia has beef with Isagi. A big beef. You see, Yukimia didn't like it when Isagi got subbed in the match against FC Barca for the sake of fan service. Since then, he expresses his desire to destroy Isagi no matter what, going as far as stealing the ball from him so he can score and become the hero of the match on his own. After all, Yukimia is on a timer. He has an eye condition called optic neuropathy. And before his time runs out and his condition worsens to the point where he can no longer see properly, Yukimia wants to prove himself. After his game-winning sword screw, Yukimia and Isagi apologize to each other. They became official rivals, but they still do help each other's plays if necessary. Yukimia also got an offer from Iax, who offered to help him with his treatment as long as he played for them. But Yukimia delayed his decision. He thinks his goal is merely because of Isagi's help, so he wants them to wait and assess him more for the rest of the Neo-Egoist League. At the peak of the match against Paris X Jin, this genius also awakened a new weapon, his Predator Eyes. With this newly attained ability, Yukimia tries to score the final goal, but Charles stops him at the last second. Ryu Jubei is one of Uber's top defenders. His main job is to follow Snuffy's defensive tactics, and that's where his weapons come in. Ryu is one of the tallest players in Blue Lock. With his long limbs and incredible reach, aerial battles are definitely his thing. When the ball comes his way, Ryu can just leap up and head the ball, and suddenly, his team has possession. Even talented strikers like Kaiser or physically buffed players like Kunigami would have a hard time beating him in the air. Honestly, I don't think they could. As for his final ranking, Ryu comes in at 13th place with a 45 million yen bid. Gin Gagamaru is the goalkeeper for Bastard München, and this guy is a real egoist. He saved his team from losing with some really important saves. We're talking about stopping Baro's shot with his Predator Eyes and blocking Ren's Berserker shot, which was intense. As the guardian for Bastard München, Gagamaru retains his skills back when he plays as the goalkeeper against the Japan U20 team. In fact, he improved it. His physical abilities and overall stats during the team's training made him the perfect guy for the job. The player he replaced, Bachmann, probably can't believe a guy who's picking his nose during the announcement is now in his position. Of course, Gagamaru has had his moments where things didn't go as planned, like when Baro went full Predator mode and scored a stealth kill shot that Gagamaru couldn't react to. But he doesn't stay down. He quickly adapted, got into the flow, and stopped it the second time around. Even before that, he also saved Bastard München from losing to Manshine City by helping Isagi stop Chris's knuckleball. In the following match against Paris X Jin, Gagamaru also made a crucial save and smashed Ren's Berserker shot, which actually almost entered the area of the goal. As for his current value, Gagamaru sits at 12th place with a 50 million yen annual salary bid. Finally, we're now on Blue Lock's top 11. Tabito Karasu plays as a central midfielder for Paris X Jin's Shido-centered system. This player is Blue Lock's assassin, but if you think he's still mainly targeting the weakest player on the enemy team, think again. He has two main eye types. First, his Assassin Eyes, which match his style of play, where he crushes the opponents by taking out their weakest player. But in the Neo-Egoist League, where the competition is tough and the players are strong, that strategy just won't work anymore. So Karasu learned to focus on the central player, the one who controls the game. He figured that if he neutralizes the main player first, the whole team would fall apart, and that's how Paris X Jin would get the win. Karasu's main job is to support Shido. He does this by stealing the ball from the opponents and helping out Charles and Zontetsu to set up Shido's plays. But in the match against Bastard München, when Loki mixes the Ren and Shido systems on the field, Karasu adapts and starts assisting Ren too. You see, Karasu possesses Metavision. This helps him read the field, see what's going on, and move accordingly. Karasu is also a confirmed talented learner. At one point, he and Charles even shut down Isagi and Kaiser's attack. In the entire league, Loki also trains Karasu to become better at winning duels. In fact, Karasu's off-the-ball movements usually create a space for his teammates to do their thing. Thanks to all these, Karasu secured 11th place, and he has an annual salary bid of 55 million yen. Oliver Aiku is one of Uber's top performing employees, and it's not hard to see why. Aiku possesses Metavision, and a unique version of it. Aiku's Metavision allows him to see the accurate data and specs on his teammates and opponents through graphs and numbers. He can see the percentage as to where the opponents will go, how much is the odds that they will go right or left, shoot or pass, and more. Aiku fully masters his Metavision during the match against Bastard München after hearing it from Isagi. He uses it to shut down many of Isagi's plays because he can see right through his every move. In fact, Aiku has moments where he outplays Isagi's Metavision, which messes with Isagi's mindset. As one of the best defenders in the league, Aiku has no problem handling even the top strikers. He tried to stop Kaiser's Kaiser Impact, although it didn't work. And when Snuffy was being man-marked by Raichi, Aiku took on the responsibility of recovering the loose balls. Fast forward to their match against Manshine City, and Aiku blocked Nagi's shot too. Even though he dropped from 6th place in the previous rankings to 10th in the final rankings, Aiku still has a 60 million yen bid, which is around 420,000 US dollars. And finally, we might see the Karasu x Otoya combo again in the upcoming U20 World Cup. Or at least that's what my headcanon is. Ita Otoya is currently ranked in 9th place with a 63 million yen bid, which is pretty wild when you think about it, especially since his team's only win was against Manshine City. Otoya's job at FC Barca is to basically do whatever he wants. With the freedom and creativity he picked up from Lavigno, Otoya is able to sync up with Botra's unpredictable style. He also mixes his ninja stealth walk with tiki-taka passing and helps set up Botra's first goal in the Neo-Egoist League. In the match against Manshine City, Otoya pulled off an insane play, and he did it against none other than Chris Prince himself. With his sneaky off-the-ball movements, Otoya followed Ryo and Nagi's plan and swoops in when they least expect it. He studied their passing patterns so much that he knows them better than his own parents, and he steals the ball right from in front of them. After that, Lavigno and Botra link up with Otoya, and he takes advantage of Chris's blind spot. This opens up a chance for him to pull off a jumping volley while Chris is still trying to stop him, and that leads to FC Barcha's second goal. What's more, Otoya also shuts down Nagi right when Nagi is this close to redeeming himself and getting off everyone's fraud list. When Nagi enters the zone and starts slicing through FC Barcha players with his dribbles, traps, and creativity to link up with Nagi again, Otoya steps in. We even see his shuriken aura manifesting. Otoya quickly gathers the defenders and sets them up to block Nagi's path. Then Otoya charges in to steal the ball himself. And Nagi, he panics. That's when he passes to Ryo instead of going for the shot. And that moment right there seals his fate. The downfall of a failure of an egoist. When the Neo-Egoist League starts, Kunigami finally makes his return, this time as Blue Lock's fallen hero and the lone survivor for Wildcard. You see, Wildcard is Blue Lock's secret program for players who failed during the selections. This is Blue Lock's alternate route, and its main objective is to create a player with specs similar to Noah. Basically, to make Kunigami Noah's carbon copy. This is why Kunigami, who is known for his lefty shots, is now suddenly known for being ambidextrous, although, unlike Nanise, he's not naturally born that way. An artificially created genius, if you think about it. But with this evolution also comes a sacrifice. You see, Kunigami is no longer the hero we once thought he was. During the Neo-Egoist League, it's clear that Kunigami gave up his dream of being a hero. After all, surviving Wildcard means he defeated a bunch of other Blue Lock players and probably crushed their dreams in the process. How can he still call himself a hero after that? Aside from being ambidextrous, Kunigami is also way more jacked now. From the start, he's been trying to steal the main striker spot from Kaiser, taking goals for himself, and even shutting down top-tier strikers. A great example is when he totally locks Shido down in the match against Paris X-Jin and keeps him from linking up with Charles. Though he trash-talks Isagi, Kunigami still helps him in that match as payback for the stake they shared during Blue Lock's early stages. After all, there's actually one more hidden objective for the wildcard test subject, Kunigami. The truth is, he's designed to raise the level of other Blue Lock players. For that to work, Kunigami had to sometimes let go of his ego and enter this blank, neutral mindset. Now Kunigami sits in 8th place with a 66 million yen bid. Oh, and he's already scored 2 goals. If you're curious how he and other Blue Lock players scored their goals in this league, check out our other video where we explain every goal in the Neo-Egoist League within just a few minutes. I'll be honest, not everyone expected this guy to make it this far, but I'm glad he did. I'm talking about Mikage Ryo. When the Neo-Egoist League began, Ryo had one big goal in mind. He wanted to get strong enough to stand side by side with Nagi again, not as his JoJo stand or sidekick, but as his equal. To make that happen, Ryo upgraded his chameleon style using Chris Prince's training on body revolution and ideals. He developed something new called the chameleon striker mode because at one point, he wanted to be the best striker in the world. To reach that level, Ryo imagined a fusion of Ren and Sei, and he pulled it off. He started dribbling like Sei, slicing through the defense on his own, and then copies Ren's signature outside spin shot. But just as it looked like he was about to score, Gagamaru blocked the shot. However, after Nagi asks for his help to beat Isagi, Ryo drops his dream of being the best striker. Instead, he goes back to his old goal, to win the World Cup with Nagi. To make that happen, Ryo unlocks Metavision, enters the flow, and delivers the perfect pass that sets up Nagi's 5-shot revolver fake volley. The result? Their value skyrockets. Nagi shoots up to 2nd place with an 88 million yen bid, while Ryo lands in 6th place with a 40 million yen bid. But then things start falling apart. Now that Ryo is playing with Nagi again, Nagi's creativity plummets. His value drops to 40 million yen, and Ryo falls to 16th place with 34 million yen. Manshine City has no win yet, and there's only one match left. Ryo changes their whole playstyle. Instead of going for their own goals, they will help the team score, but that doesn't necessarily mean Ryo will pass to Nagi. If they have the chance, however, they're free to go for it. During their match against FC Barcha, Ryo passes straight towards Chigiri's golden zone, and Chigiri scores with his 44-degree Panther snipe. After that, Ryo and Nagi try to make another play, but Otoya reads them perfectly and shuts it down. With the score now 2-1, Ryo gets fired up. He wants to make one more big play with Nagi to save both their spots. But things don't go as planned. Chris ignores Nagi and passes the ball straight to Ryo instead. He believes Ryo is chasing his own dream now and wants to support that. Ryo responds by copying Otoya's moves and scores, tying the game. Now, Ryo's survival is locked in, but unless Nagi pulls off something massive on his own, he's done. And sure, Nagi tries, but at the last second, he passes to Ryo instead. Botra steals it, and Manshine City loses. After the match, Nagi drops to 24th place with a 24 million yen bid, while Ryo jumps to 7th with a massive 78 million yen bid. With a 90 million yen bid, ranked 6th overall, we get Chigiri Hyoma. Throughout the Neo-Egoist League, Chigiri improves his physicality, speed, and most of all, his goal-scoring abilities. His stats in offense, speed, and dribbling leveled up to S, and he develops a new weapon where he can mass-produce goals. You see, coming into this league, Chigiri developed this ideal of becoming a striker who doesn't need to pass the ball. From no motion, he quickly cuts in and gets past defenders until he positions himself to the area 19 meters from the goal and 44 degrees to the left. As long as he's in this position, Chigiri doesn't even need a 100% accurate shot. Just a controlled one aimed at the corner of the goal, and he's most likely to score. In fact, all of Chigiri's goals in the Neo-Egoist League are through this method. He pulled it off once against Bayern München, against versus FC Barca, and one more time off-screen against Paris X-Gen. Miguru Botra is Blue Lock's monster, and he's the first one on this list with a 9-figure bid. He's currently ranked 5th with a value of 120 million yen. That's around $840,000 US. When the Neo-Egoist League starts, Botra wants to get even stronger, so he asks Lavigno for advice. He explains how his monster helped him grow in the past when he fought to overcome it, but Lavigno tells him something different. He believes Botra's monster is actually a sign of his own originality. Instead of getting rid of it, Lavigno encourages Botra to evolve it with him, and that's exactly what Botra does. He mixes Lavigno's Jenga style with his own weapon. His dribbling becomes more disciplined and more calculated. It looks like he has endless options, but he's not charging forward right away. He's waiting for his opponents to make the first move, then he reacts. This new version of his playstyle is called Jenga X Monster, and he scores with it against Bayern München. Against Manshine City, Botra scored another 2 goals. The first one is when he executes a roulette into a lift and breezes past Agi and Nagi before sending it straight into the goal. The second is the game-winning shot he makes after stealing the ball from Nagi's pass. He links up with Ignacio Lara, dribbles past Manshine City, and ends the game with a win. Coming in at 4th place is King Baro himself. He's the main striker of Ubers and the player who Snuffy offered to be the successor of the team. You see, Snuffy really rates Baro high. He believes that out of everyone in the Neo-Egoist League, Baro has the best stats to become the top striker. But Baro isn't interested in inheriting anything. He doesn't want to be given the throne, he wants to take it for himself. So he agrees to work with Snuffy, but only on his own terms. Throughout the Neo-Egoist League, Snuffy trains his players to create a team that is centered around Baro. Baro's job is to evolve. Baro improves his signature curve shot with the help of his newly attained eye ability, the Predator Eyes. With Predator Eyes, the goalkeepers become prey for him. Baro blends in the field and uses the positioning of both his teammates and the opponent so he can position himself where the goalkeeper cannot see him. Then, in that split-second blind spot, he fires off his new stealth kill shot and scores. But just following Snuffy's strategy isn't enough for Baro to beat Isagi. Sure, it got him a 100 million yen bid, but that's not how Baro wants to win. So he hijacks the team. He reformulates his whole playstyle. He helps in defense, passes the ball, and makes use of the lack of freedom that comes after he rejects Snuffy's philosophy. As for whether he'll score a goal or not, or even make it big in the future, Baro doesn't care about the consequences. He'll play for himself like the unruly brat he is. And if he still can't become the king even after all that, he's prepared to die honorably. And this is what Nagi lacks. Even players like Nanise and Kiora have this mindset where they treat every game as if it were a life and death situation. That's why they possess what ego defines as hunger, and they're ready to offer their lives for their own play. As for Nagi, he can't even get fired up on his own. And when he did, it was already too late. His ego is lacking. At least for now, he doesn't have what it takes. The difference is that Baro trusts in his own philosophy. He goes for it and executes a double nutmeg shot between Kaiser and Isagi's legs. Snuffy even helps him out in the end, so Baro scores the goal. What's more, he challenges Snuffy not to retire because someday they will settle their score. With all that, Baro is now running the show for Ubers. They beat Manshine City in their last game, and Baro's value jumped up to 150 million yen. That's still below Isagi, but that's exactly how Baro wants it. Because, when he finally crushes Isagi, he wants him at his absolute best. At 3rd place, we've got Ryuse Shido with a 160 million yen bid. Shido plays as the main striker for Paris X-Gen. And just like Ren, he has a system in the Neo-Egoist League that's built entirely around him. Shido's been scoring a lot of goals, and it's not just the crazy chemical reactions he had with Charles against Bayern München. He also put away 2 goals against FC Barca, and those performances helped boost his value to 100 million yen at that point. Now, Shido's game has leveled up even more. His spatial awareness and brute strength are off the charts. He's also got something called a feel-good spot, a sweet spot where everything clicks. And when that match with Charles' contrarian spot, they created the ultimate resonance chemical reaction and scored a beautiful goal. Sadly, that was the only one he managed against Bayern München. That's because Kunigami shut him down over and over. Even after forming an impromptu duo with Ren, they were completely crushed by Isagi and Kaiser. Let's now talk about the first of the 2 Blue Lockers who tied for the top spot, starting off with Itoshi Ren. You see, Ren's rivalry with Isagi is at its peak in this league. Even in his match against Manshine City, Ren can't think about anything but to destroy Isagi. When Parasek's Jin faces Bastard Munchen, Ren finally enters his Berserker state again. He scores their second goal, and at one point, he even has a chance to score earlier, but he stops. He doesn't take the shot because, deep down, he knows it's not enough. It won't help him surpass the shadow of his brother Sei. This Phantom, however, is eventually replaced by Isagi. Ren knows that he can't get stronger without beating that Phantom. But at the moment, when it looks like he doesn't yet have what it takes, Isagi comes in and gives him a new impulse. Unfortunately, Ren struggles to score once again. He got countered by Igarashi's Genius Killer Militia a few times, and though he eventually avoided it, Isagi and Kaiser stood in his way. At the peak of the match, this genius once again undergoes another mutation. He develops Predator Eyes through defense. He tunnel visions into destroying the connection between Isagi and Kaiser and sticks to Isagi within a radius of 4 meters. As long as he's in this area, Ren can stop him reflexively. Aside from defense and I-types, Ren evolves his go-to shot too. He turns his highly accurate curved shot to a devilish spinning mid-range shot. Unfortunately, all these evolutions weren't enough to beat Isagi and Bastard Munchen. When Ren evolves, you just know Isagi will adapt to it quickly. This Demon King finishes the Neo-Egoist League with 4 wins and tops the rankings with a 240 million yen annual salary bid, tying with Ren for first place. The funny thing is, Isagi actually started off at the bottom of Bastard Munchen. Because Kaiser intercepted his shot during their very first training session, Isagi ranked 21st, even below Igarashi, which made it tougher to catch up to the Blue Lock and international players. He didn't even start in the match against FC Barca, but for the sake of good old fan service, you know, being the guy who scored the game-winning goal against Japan U20, Noah has a contract to put him on the field. But Isagi's opportunity to score will come much later on. Over the course of the Neo-Egoist League, Isagi evolves in every way. He picks up tons of new ideas, concepts, and weapons like peak performances, egocentrism, the difference between geniuses and talented learners, and a whole lot more. He also develops a left-footed direct shot, upgrades it into a 2-stage version, and even masters the 2-gun direct volley. What's more, Isagi learned that he's not actually a genius. Sure, he's Mahoraga level when it comes to adaptability, but that in itself means that he has the mindset and playstyle of a talented learner. Once Isagi finally accepted it, he started to play like one. He discards his useless feelings and fixations and is left with only the desire to win. With that mindset, he treats himself like a tool for victory. He activates the awakened version of Metavision and forms a talented learner chemical reaction with Kaiser. They even form a temporary partnership, agreeing that whoever ends up with the ball and the luck for the best shot can go for the goal. And it works. Isagi helps destroy Parasek's Jin. He reads Ness like a book because he sees him as an equal pawn, something Kaiser, who views Ness as worthless, still refuses to do. That's why Kaiser misses the pass and Isagi doesn't. Ren tries to stop him but can't. Isagi lands the final shot and wins the match. With that, their contract ends and Isagi officially becomes Blue Lock's Demon King. But now that you know Blue Lock's final top 23, it's time to learn more about the Neo-Egoist League teams and the world-class pro players of Blue Lock. Haven't seen it yet? You're definitely missing out. Click here to catch up. And hey, got any hot takes about Nagi? Drop them in the comment section down below.